am going to set you up here so that you're not quite so in my face. And hello, hello, hello. How are you today? Sorry, I'm coughing a little bit. I have the icks that's going around. I am going to drink to start the day off with here. There we go. Nice cold sip of Diet. Oh, hello, you too, why don't you? I've been playing. Hello, hey Tracy, how are you? I've been playing with Sylvia's FPP this morning or this afternoon. Tracy, Tracy, Tracy. So this is her pattern. This is the paper part that you're supposed to piece on. And this is what mine looks like. It is 5 by 5.5 inches, which I'm pretty sure is too small. I think it's supposed to come out 6.5 or 6. But I thought, what the heck, let's play with it. So FPP is spreading like a virus throughout the quilting community, folks. Y'all be prepared for it. Sylvia is passing that cold on to all of us. And then the other Sylvia sent me this week was this. Hopefully that gives you guys a really good picture of that. I got it as this size, which is half a sheet of paper. And I blew it up a little bit onto a full sheet of paper. I want to take it into my Cricut and use my Cricut to cut the pieces out. But we were talking applique earlier on Colleen's chat. And I thought, I have a piece of fabric here. And I'm not going to cut it, but I am going to iron it. Hello, Colleen. How are you today? And I have too much stuff over here because I sent Colleen a picture of that. Hey, Sherlock. I was playing with Sylvia's FPP earlier. And, which means I didn't get any work done on organizing today. Y'all can laugh at me if you want. And I am moving some things out of my way. I do like how the chat shows up there. That's kind of cool. I've got my big iron on, it's a little one away here. Yeah, that was my first time. Well, maybe my second time trying FPP, but I'm definitely an absolute novice at it. And and this is a brand new fat order of some kind of fabric. I pulled it off of my shelf. It's got butterflies on it. And I thought it would be pretty as the background for the giraffe. And paper today, I wanted to show how to do reverse numbers for Colleen. So when she gets ready to do her Ozarks letters on her pig, then she can refer back to it. But she's got some time before she's anywhere near those letters. And the iron isn't really hot enough, so let me get it a little warmer. Sorry. Well, hello, Seth. You were wondering about how to do the reverse letters? Yeah, I know. Where'd I set that? Off to the side. Sylvia, you're spreading your disease. It came out really small. Is it printed out? That is 5 by 5.5 for me. That's how it prints. Hello, Martha. How are you? It's good to see you here. Martha Anderson. Anderson for you. Okay, there we go. The iron is now heating up to something I can actually use. And Sylvia, between Sylvia and Colleen, they're inspiring everything today. The size when I printed it. And then I just sat here and traced onto some freezer paper, all of the little pieces. A light box would really help. I didn't go grab my light box. And I think I may not get it done during the slide, but I think I'm going to try to piece that together. And I have a couple of things going on here. I probably could move my ironing mat over in front of us. And I didn't use my add a quarter ruler. Isn't the giraffe so cute? I didn't use my add a quarter ruler for that FPP. I just used my regular ruler and used the 1/4 inch edge on it. I do have an add a quarter, but I just put rulers away yesterday. Yeah, I didn't mess with that. And I did put my garbage can over here next to me. Hello, Lynn Bylis. Hey. Good to see you. I know it's dinner time for you, so really good to see you. Because I know it's starting to get late. It's what, 7, 8 o'clock over there? In the UK, that doesn't go with USSR. In the USSR. And I have a little bit of a hitch in my throat today. I apologize for that. Colleen, say what time I was on? Awesome, Sylvia. Now, did you have to buy a new pattern? Or are you just from one that you have? I know we were talking the other day about the pattern that you had, didn't think was small enough for her. Hello, Nancy. I'm kind of liking the option to go live on the phone, especially since I found the ring light that I had, and tech support did some mechanical adjustments to this ring light. Okay, cool, Lynn. I'm glad for that. I don't know if you saw, I played with Sylvia's FPP lantern because it looked fairly simple. And I thought, well, let me try to do this. And I'm trying not to put starch on this fabric, but I may have to. Excuse me. And when Sylvia sent that giraffe picture to me, she said, I make this bigger enough to put on a wall hanging. And again, here's the giraffe picture. And it's half a sheet of letter size paper, which is 8.5 inches by 11 inches for the US. And I doubled the size of it and printed it on an 8.5 by paper. But I also want to put this into my Cricut and play with it. And so Cricut is I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to, well, it might be visible. On the picture that I got. And then I'm going to number them on the drawing that I made. 16, 17. And the only reason I'm numbering them is so that hopefully I can keep them in a similar order whenever I put things back together. I'm taking artistic. You may be able to see here. I have my shapes aren't exactly the same as these, but I'm going to number these to match the picture so that I have an idea of where the pieces go whenever I put everything together. So I'm going to do 1A. I got to number them similarly. 2, 3, 4. 6, 7. And what I'm doing is just trying to make a match. So that once I cut out all the little pieces and start putting them on with fabric, I don't get completely lost. 15. Especially when you've got too many lights on your head. Because I turned on the light up there. 1 second. Oh, there are one. The weird glitch is still going on. The context of that. Are you talking about an FPP block? Where did I put mine? So I can demonstrate what Tracy just or was talking about. Do you love it when you put things? Wouldn't it be nice if my room was complete? It's never going to happen, but the whole goal of organ and ever I put. I'm gonna laugh at myself here. Donna Jordan, yeah. There's some others that I don't learn as much. All right, tell me to take a breath, guys. Now, the next decision, when I do this, I'm going to cut apart my pieces of freezer paper and I'm going to iron scrap fabric that I have sitting here. And I'm going to just do random pieces of scrap fabric. And then I'm going to lay it down on this white fabric and I'm going to washable glue stick, but it's purple. If I can get the lid, I'll always cooperate with that. Put it on, it's purple. And when you iron the stuff down, so that's what I'm going to do. And then I have a fat quarter. Oh, I'm buffering a little bit. This giraffe on here, and probably, let's see if I half a fat quarter would do fine. Is make all hanging like this, all done. Then one in the picture. I think that looks really cool. All right, I am buffering. I'm seeing that, and I thought, oh, found a solution for Zoom's issues. That was what I was hoping anyway. That was one of the reasons I wanted to get to 1,000 so badly, is because you can't go live on your phone until you do hit 1,000. Or at least you couldn't. That makes the rule. 1,000. Sylvia and Colleen, you guys can let me know if that's still true. And believe me, I'm not dissing either one in their numbers lately. They are both on the fast track. I'm just like astounded because they are, well, they're both knocking on 600. Big guy, you will get there. You just need to keep putting up quality videos. And you do. And keep. That's all I can tell you. I got really lucky. I had a couple of videos that really took off for me, and so I'm definitely claiming luck on that. I am not claiming that I did anything major. 'Cause you guys all know sometimes it is literally the luck of the draw. You're exhausted from doing 4 shorts a day. Yeah, it does get tiring. Okay, so now what I want to do is I need paper scissors on paper. And this freezer paper is paper. And I am not being exacting on cutting these out. I'm cutting them out in fairly big pieces. I don't know how well you can see that. There you go. I'm cutting it out in fairly big pieces. And I want to cut them and lay them down kind of where they go on the page, so that when I do start attaching them to fabric, I still have an idea of where they go to. So that one goes there, that one goes there. Or not on the page, but down on my background fabric that I'm planning to use. And I did draw them fairly close together. I didn't shift it like I normally would have, but I'm not super worried about it, although I do need to turn that way, this way, this way. It's just like doing a puzzle. It really is. If I can bring you guys where you can see what I'm doing on. And don't get seasick on me, folks. So what I'm doing is I know you want to see what I'm doing, if we can get that for you. There, maybe. Right there. Trying to get it where you can say. All right, over here, I'm putting the pieces down in the order that they go. Somebody say something. Oh, thank you, Sylvie. I appreciate that. Let's see if I can pick up. Let me lay them down here, and then I'll try to pick up the wool mat and see if that works a little better. But that's the reason that to keep everything as close to in order. Whee! Yeah, Lori. Sorry. I try not to do that to you guys because I know that so what I'll do is let me get these cut out, and then I'll pick up the wool mat and to you guys. That may work a little better. So I'm cutting out the freezer paper from around the outside edges. And the box of freezer paper I'm working from, I think 10 years. It as I am freezer paper with abandon, and I don't keep scraps fit for any reason. Unless I'm planning some smaller pieces in the same project that I'm working on. And I'm pretty sure I learned how to freezer paper piece on YouTube. Probably. Don't be blowing your pieces around, Melissa. And I've taught a few people how to freezer paper piece. Any other version? And that giraffe's chin is a bunch of littler pieces, so I'm going to keep it together until I'm ready to actually make that piece. That's going to be layered on top of one another. And really and truly, even if you sneezed and dropped everything on the floor and then back together, it would probably still come out okay. Because this isn't meant to be reality. This is just meant to be something fun. I need to look where that piece goes. So you could spread these out and do it, pretty much however you like. Excuse me. You can do these somewhat similar to how Sylvia did her freezer paper applique stuff. Especially for the pieces where it's layered up. And the reason I put numbers on is because at this point, I couldn't tell you where any of those pieces go. Now, is this not making sense to anybody? Anybody in chat? Maybe I lost everybody. They all ran away. Okay, and here is almost all of my pieces. Yeah, I did. This is called freezer paper applique. And so you can see what I've done is I've just cut my freezer paper pieces apart. Hey, Stephanie. And then I have the waxy side of the freezer paper is down. What I'm going to do now is going to take a piece of fabric. So you can read my number, and I'm going to iron it to the right side of that piece of fabric. So let me show you what that looks like. And I'm cutting the fabric a little bit smaller, just so that I don't have such a big piece of fabric to deal with. And now you can see that the freezer paper attached to the fabric. And I used a pencil to draw this rather than an ink pen, which I was afraid would bleed through onto my fabric, or a friction pen, which would disappear whenever I ironed the freezer paper to the fabric. So now I've trimmed out that little piece, and you can still see there's 29 written on it. The neighbor girl is screaming. Would probably make the cutting a whole lot easier. And then what I've done, my glue stick, and I put on the back here. And then I'm using my picture for a reference. And I'm going to put this. I wondered, I had wondered where you were. I hadn't seen you in a while, and I thought, well, did I make her mad? I'm glad I didn't, but I'm sorry that you got so sick and ended up having surgery. And some of those abdominal surgeries can definitely knock you down. I had one myself about a year ago. Well, year and a half ago now, and I'm really just now starting to get to where I feel completely normal. And some of those surgeries can be, yeah, bad. Oh, I'm so sorry. Now, the reason that I glue these as I go, I want the fabrics to stay where, and, and sometimes gets a little nitpicky down in there. Sometimes the wax paper will pull loose easier than you think that it's going to. And these are time consuming. We probably won't finish this one on this live. But if I've already got the fabric down where it belongs, then it's not such a big that paper does happen to move. And I am taking my iron to the little section that I've and just drying it so that that paper will stay where I want it. And there is no real rhyme or reason to what I'm doing here, but I am making sure that when I attach this, the numbers are, and it gets attached to the correct side of the fabric. So freezer paper on the right side of the fabric, and I'm ironing it down. And then when I set it on, amen to that, and I see background fabric, where it goes. Now, the one really nice thing about doing this with freezer paper is that the free picked up and moved if you get. Yeah, Stir, I'm really glad that you showed up. I was really starting to get a little worried. So are you pretty much back to normal now, or is it still a long road ahead of you? Like I said, those abdominal injuries can definitely make that happen. My mom had one when I was little that it took her forever basically to recover from. Okay, so I've got 3 pieces down in here now. I'm not going to pick you guys up. Hello, I don't know who just said hi, everyone, because it faded on me. Oh, hello, Catherine. So here's the 3 pieces I've got down so far, and as you can tell, trying to keep everything in place. They are glued down. I can't take the fabric off of that one now, but I can pick it up. Like I overlapped that one just a little bit. The glue lets me pick it up and reposition it. And if I hadn't already ironed that glue dry, I could just push it back down. But I can also just go ahead and take a little bit of glue and put on here and glue it back down. So this is really forgiving. You know, if you've dealt with heat and bond, you know, sometimes it can be a big pain. And once you put heat and bond down, that's it, it's down. So this gives you a little more room to fiddle if you want to. And there are, once this is all put down, big guy, you're fine. You're fine. As long as you're nice to the ladies, they'll be nice to you. So, you know, I think that's the opposite of fancy, right? Just be nice to the gentleman. Fancy, they'll be nice to you. I probably will attach it with zigzag, Sylvia. It kind of depends on how I feel when I get ready to do it. I could do a couple of things. Once I have all of the pieces down on, zigzag around each and every piece, if that's what I want. I could, can you guys see how that is quilted? I could quilt all the way across these pieces, the same directions that they've quilted, zag around the pieces, because it won't be too much to do. You know, this is a small thing. It's only about the size of a piece of paper. I could probably program it if I wanted to spend half a day embroidery machine and use that. Now I'm just kind of getting things on here. And the giraffe, this fabric, I don't know if you guys can see that. This fabric kind of reminds me of giraffe fabric. And I'm looking, there's a scrap of it. Kind of reminds me of the giraffe's pattern. So that was kind of what got me started. I want to put the giraffe on here. I'm looking for some scrap. I used, or the, it's not giraffe fabric. It's in a So Yeah box. I want to say it's Brookstone from Wyndham. If I can find a selvage edge that has it on it. I think it's Brookstone from Wyndham. Don't hold me to that. It may not. Oh, but I thought this would be really cute as a part of this giraffe. And the one that Sylvia sent me a picture of was super colorful. And of course, I think that they paid more attention to their colors because they've got like a light color up one side and a darker color up the other. I like that layout. I'm, despite what anybody might tell you, I am not an artiste. I'm just a gal who likes to sew and do this, that, and the other. But yeah, between the fact it's perfectly timed picture, I'm like, yeah, that'll work. And pretty much the reason I did this one is because it would look like just made from scraps. And because I had this fabric that seemed like it would be perfect for it. So all I've been doing is sitting here. What's everybody else working on today? I know Colleen is working on pigs. I want to say pigs in space from the Muppets. I think we were talking about Looney Tunes earlier in Colleen's chat. which I may be Looney Tunes. I represent that. I definitely represent that. I wouldn't recommend using something like this. I have a little scrap piece of stretch that I don't want to use. Let's see. I do have some darker scrappy pieces here. So maybe I'll toss a couple of those in. This is, your thing. If you decide you want to do something like this, do it the way. Oh, yeah. Yeah, freezer paper applique. You can do it with a picture. When I was on with Sean, I did a coloring page that we had just a simple kids coloring page, and I put it on a tote bag that has already been hijacked. And I'm trying to be fairly close to the shapes that this giraffe picture has in it, but I'm not sweating it. That it's a little more squared or a little more rounded or something, I'm not going to worry about it. So there's a little dab of purple. Let's put, what else have I got floating around here? I have all kinds of little scrappy stuff because, that's who I bees. So I'm just putting it together. And here's one tip that I like to do for the freezer fabric there. And since I've got it all laying on my wool pressing mat, the next piece that I just glued. So it'll stay where I want it to stay. And the great part of that is that as you go, you just iron it down high. Now you could also, rather than using freezer paper, you could use regular paper and just her applique. She does a whole lot of sew-on interfacing. So she will put the pattern on top of, she'll draw the pattern onto her sew-on interfacing, put the sew-on interfacing face to face with the fabric around it, then turn it out on that drawn line, and then turn it out so that the interfacing ends up in the back. I think that makes it look like her applique is floating on the background fabric, which is really cool looking. I'm not a big fan of turning interfacing because I'm clumsy, end up ripping it. That's why I don't particularly care that method. But everybody has different ways of doing things. And if that's how you do things, you do you. And here is why we put the numbers in here. 24 and 25. So I'm getting ready to put two pieces on here. And this is 24, this is 25. I've done all of these two pieces. I was struggling with which way do they get turned. Right. Yeah, Sylvia, I like that part of it too. I do like using heat and bond for Lori's projects normally. So, but yeah, so these two go this way. So I'm going to put two more pieces of fabric in there. I just cut a purple. I'm going to take some, and I just stole this from 1.5 inch piece. I'm going to iron my little piece onto here, cut it out, and then glue it down onto my thing. And so here's what I'm cutting out. Ironed it. So don't touch it while it's warm, right? Go ahead. I know you can be a smart aleck. And Colleen said earlier, rascally, we were talking about Looney Tunes in her chat at 6:30 this morning. Or so. Glue that piece down. And every time I hit that piece, because this is so small, I'm also hitting, oh, that wasn't good, Melissa, and glued down. And like that you number these is so if you do what I just did, you can still put them back to go. But like I said, I know we're not going to finish this during this live. You know me, you'll probably see a short show, or I may continue it. If I get all the I'll put up a picture of it as the cover for this live, and then maybe we'll finish it on Thursday, because I seriously doubt I will get this all done today. But I kind of wanted to show the idea for those of you who haven't done this before. Like Sylvia says, she wants to do it now. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, this is really something you can do with any scrap of fabric that you have. You can reuse colors in these. You can do them artistically if that's what you want to do. You can do them absolute and total scrap, which is usually where I end up doing things. With the interface method, the question went away before I saw it. Using the interfacing like Lori does, say for instance, this was your interfacing. You would draw on one side or the other of the interfacing. She uses sewing instead of fusible. So she would draw her pattern on the back of here, and I'll use an ink pen to do that. Well, I'm getting a pen to do that, but she would draw her interfacing. She traces it usually with templates, and then she takes the right side of the interfacing and attaches it to the right side of the fabric. Then she sews around the shape that's then the no sew or the sew-in interfacing gets in the middle of the back, and she irons it so that you've got smooth edges. Okay, so I don't know where that left off, but she takes her interfacing, draws the pattern onto the interfacing, sews completely around, and splits the interfacing somewhere away from the seam line, and turns the whole shebang inside out so the right sides are out. Rolls it out, irons it down, and then she sews around it. Do you reverse the drawn image? Are you talking about doing it or with the way Lori does it? Because I didn't reverse the drawn image. Exactly, Tracy. I do. That's why I started using heat and bond, because I don't like having to flip everything. With the way I'm doing it with the freezer paper, you don't have to reverse the image to get it to go the same direction. So I drew this image exactly the way this is printed. Just laid the freezer paper on top of it, but I sided the freezer paper the one so that when I ironed it onto my fabric, it would stick to my fabric. And then I cut it out, and it's going to come out the same way. If you want, you could do it either by reversing the pieces here, which is harder. When you print, just mirror your image. so that your image prints out the other direction, and do it the same way I did on this one. So there's a couple of ways to get around it. It's the size of your image and have your printer print it at a bigger size. So if you wanted a 200% this size, you're going to get 4 pieces of printed paper, but it would give you a bigger copy of the giraffe. And I am going to put this giraffe into my Cricut or into my brother's Scan and Cut. I'm not sure which yet. But I'm going to scan it in, and I'm going to create a cut file from this, an SVG cut file, unless Sylvia's husband beats me to it and she shares it with me. He might, because he's better at that than I am, actually. So, or her daughter is. She was like, oh, yeah, they'll just do it. And I said, okay, well, then if they do it, share it with me, because I would love to avoid having to. But yeah, so there's a couple of different ways to do this, and I'm showing the way to do it without a cutting machine. I think that that's probably more useful for my viewers. If my audience was a lot of people who use Cricuts or Brother Scanning, I would probably show it that way only. But, right now, they're mostly people. Oh, I love applique. I love applique. Sylvia loves FPP. And I had to try the FPP, and now I'm mad because I can't figure out where I put it still. I've still got that kind of in my... I'm looking for this thing right now. And I'm looking at my next 2 pieces so I can figure out how to put them in here. And I'm putting mine down here kind of far apart, because if I do zigzag around them, I want enough room so I'm not zigzagging on 2 pieces at one time. And I am just working my way up through here so that I can do this. But as you guys can see, this takes a little while, but it's fun. It's not like this is super boring or super drag and chicken. All I saw was I just played Bob and Chicken. You lost. Oh, I'm sorry. And stir, I'm doing because I'm avoiding cleaning my sewing. So you can laugh at me about that. Actually, I've done pretty well. I'm working on organizing it, and organizing is not the same as cleaning. Sorry for whoever left that comment. Organizing is making sure systems work better for you. Cleaning is cleaning. We all know how to clean. But organizing is looking at what you've got now and figuring out how it might work. So I know that, everybody wants to lump the two together, but they really aren't the same thing. And I am organizing my sewing room as I go. But I'm also, I'm not as worried about the cleaning portion of it as I am about the organizing portion of it, because it doesn't do me any good to get this clean if I still can't find things in here. No, I haven't moved yet, Stir. As a matter of fact, the guy is supposed to come today to talk to us about alternatives. He wants to do us finance part. As far as that's going to go, I'm not sure yet. You know how some people are. They just... He was trying to get financing. He's got money. He could buy our property, probably with pocket change. But he wants to use somebody else's money. And I don't want it to be mine. So it's frustrating me because, this was supposed to be a simple cash sale, and it was supposed to be easy, and sayonara, folks, that's not what's happened. So we're going to see what he's offering, and then we'll go from there. Right. And the first thing I said in this whole organizing thing that I'm doing is to clean up your room, get the garbage out, get the dust out, because, and I am living absolute proof of this, what happened to art organizing? You did it. I've still got things that I know I want to get rid of. Oh, I don't have big bucks, sir, so you're not offending me. When Wayne and I got married, we decided that one of the things we wanted was we wanted to have our house free and clear. We've been through, you know, houses and craziness and stuff. And I wasn't interested in having another mortgage or another mess with anything. I was married to a thrift at one point, and his idea of saving money was, I'm at that point in my life where I'm not interested in having a mortgage. I don't want to have one. I just want to live my life and go on. But I don't want to have a mortgage. So when we move, we're paying cash for whatever we buy. And I will not be paid in full for this place. And if that makes me a pain, then that makes me a pain. I don't care. So that's just the way I am. All right. So I have got about halfway. You can see I'm up to right here on these, and I'm just working my way up. Like I said, I'm definitely not going to finish it on the live. We're at an hour coloring picture. This is a little more complicated than what I normally would do. But I really like the giraffe that Sylvia sent me. So that's what I'm working on. And all these colors here. Well, hello, Beth Prickett. How are you today? Miss Tiffany's mother is who that is. Welcome, welcome. Nice to see you. You still haven't started. Oh, it is nice to see you. Yeah, he's the neighbor is a pain. Behind me instead of beside me. Normally I'm turned, my computer is right here, but I have a TV over there, and I got this backed out, so it gave me an opportunity to set lights in the camera up there. And so yeah, I took that opportunity. My curtain that you're used to seeing and the design wall for the chicken salad are all over to my right hand side. So yeah, and I've been I'm working my way around YouTube, Elon Musk, and the internet. Hear me cursing YouTube and the internet? Sorry about that. But I've got my little scrap pile here to my side. I've got some more scraps over here, and my iron is here, and then my cutting mat and my wool right in front of me. So I can work on things, and kind of talk to you guys at the same time. I like the fact that it normally shows the same. Oh, I'm sorry. My design wall and stuff are over here to my right. And then I'm working my way around, starting at one corner and working my sewing space, organizing and eliminating. You guys have filled up my garbage can like 4 times. I got rid of a bunch of, I've been keeping this big piece of purple terry cloth for forever. It's the same color as my shirt. And so I'm proud of myself for that. I've probably had it for 10 years. I don't know what I paid for it 10 years ago, but at this point it's cost base. So bye bye. It had to go. So that's what I'm trying to do right now is just work my way around and get it all done. And as I organizing and cleaning are nothing. Cleaning is cleaning and organizing is making sure your systems work for you. I'm still looking for that FPP block I did. She steals things. She's been gone 20 years. She need any of this stuff. But that is sometimes if we ask, my mother will bring things back. I know people who pray to Saint Joseph. Ah, what'd you do with it? Then I'll find it 5 minutes after I get off this live, right? Okay, guys, I am not seeing chat, so I don't know if I'm buffering again, but I am going to bring you guys down here closer to me because if I don't, I can't end the chat. So let's bring you down here. Oh, knocked over the button jar. Thank you, Mom. There you go. I'm a visual person too. I think we forget things if they're not right where we can see them. I'm definitely that way. As a matter of fact, I went and got this glue stick out before I started the slide, but in the drawer right in front of me, there's a bigger glue stick, and I have no clue why I didn't see it there, except that it's inside the drawer, and I really should have had it out where I could see it. Yeah, we live in the middle of nowhere. I call it country internet. We even went so far as to get hooked up to Starlink, the Elon Musk big deal thing. Yeah. Oh, Star, where are you at? Actually, my stepdaughter asked for anything. The only reason I didn't give her that terry cloth is because that terry cloth is, yeah, Lynn, and like I said, I'm a visual person. I need to see things in order to know that I have them. Um, and I'm a list person. I've got to have lists. Lists are what keep me on track and keep me where I'm supposed to be. And this freezer paper applique that I'm working on right now, I will probably not sit here straight through, but I will sit here today and at least get everything glued down so that I can start sewing it, because if I don't, I won't. Yeah, Sylvia, do you use Google? I like Google Keep for lists because I keep lists everywhere. But the good old fashioned book and a pen, write things down. Um, that is my favorite way to do lists. And I love it when I can write things down and then check them off like really fast. So I have been known, if I get up and do dishes in the morning or start a load of laundry or something, when I go to make my list, I'll add those things to the list just so I can put a check mark next to them. You use paper and then lose the paper. Hello, Richter Stitcher. How are you today? Let's see if I get it. Is that right? Pittsburgh. It's not that far from Toledo. I may have to say hello when I get up that way. It's either Linda or Bar. Yeah. I don't have a guild. I was gonna join the guild here in this county right before COVID started, and their membership shrank dramatically during COVID. Oh, awesome, awesome. Yeah, I remember once I write it down, I can usually remember it, but if I type it, it doesn't stick like writing does. So, yeah. It is Linda. Yay! I got a name right. Oh, well, I don't know if we'll be moved by April, but I've got my fingers crossed anyway. Right, right. It is if you write it down. Yes. Once I see it, I'm good. We'll talk about which way do you learn. I'm a visual learner. I have to see it in order to learn it. I don't do well with just audible instructions. Although I really like audible books, when they read to you. I really like that because I can half tune it out and not have to give it all of my attention. Yeah. I was just going to ask you if you would do that for me, Colleen. And I need to add that one to the thing. Now, have you guys shared everybody's links? Is that all done? Yeah. I usually, if I've done something in a live, I usually try to put a separate tutorial because I'm not the entire live to get a tutorial. I end up reading the chats over to the side instead of reading what or listening to what's going on the screen, which is probably a bad thing. But I'm a people person. Oh, wow. Christmas stuff still up. Well, that's okay. Switch it over to hearts and it'll be Valentine's Day. Okay, so they're making sure they get my mods up for me and everybody. I think that we are putting up Big Guy. Yep. Super stuff. Yep. All right. If you haven't visited any of my mods or any of the people who are in the chat, please do so. All of them have channels. I don't put people on my um, links list that I creators. So yeah, that you visit everybody. I appreciate your thumbs up. I see there's 7 watching and 9 thumbs up. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will see you guys on Thursday, hopefully with the giraffe part done. Oh, awesome. Have a great night. Thank you for watching. Bye, everybody. And good to see you start. Really was. I hope you feel better fast. Hopefully, I'll see you on Thursday. Bye, guys. Oh, bye, Catherine.